Yeah, why not?
Hello, boys and girls. It is good to see everybody today. Welcome to Wood Spun Around. I'm Doug, and I've got started to say a host of folks with me, but I've got two folks with me. The Queen and the Wizard, Ruby and Wayne, are with me today. Uh,
Good evening, everyone.
I
it's
think I'd
good to see
rather be the
everybody.
wizard.
Yeah, but then that would make Wayne the Queen. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, I'm not going down that road.
All right, I'm going to switch over, come back here to me and give you a top down view of what we're going to start working on. This is a lump of hackberry. It's just a hair over 6 inches. It'll be 6 inches or less by the time we get everything squared up. Going to turn a little bit of a vase. Was thinking the other day, this time of year, we're always looking for those small things to give away, quick things to make, whether it's for an office party or the spouse needs something to give to somebody at their office, or somebody comes by the house and bringing gifts. You want to send a home a gift with them sometimes. So I'm going to turn a bit of a vase here. Um, you've seen this style of vase before. Um, from me, but you've also seen them from Wayne and others. Just a nice, simple vase that'll fit in just about any decor. We may put a little color on it. We'll see what it looks like when I get it shaped up here. So I'm going to get started on it, and I'm going to guess that Wayne is probably going to read out who all's in the chat for us tonight.
Yeah, you're probably going to guess right.
But he's better at reading than I am.
Oh, excuse me. Right, here we go. So Jennifer's in. Jennifer's Crafting Creations, and I'm very well at the moment. Thanks, Jennifer. It was good speaking with Mark the other night in the chat room. And Ronald Todd's in from the West Bank of New Jersey. Door 60's in. Obviously, Ruby's here. Zed's in. Good evening, Zed. In case you didn't see in the chat from Ruby, we were asking, or we were uncertain about where you're living now. I thought you lived in Oregon, and Doug thinks you live in South California. Michael McEwen's in. Clinton Wood Dancers, and Al's in. Albert Dawson. Good afternoon, Al. Oh, chat just jumped. I'm still going down. Jim Selby's here. Roger Kent, Clinton Wood Dancers, I think I've already said. Karsten's in. Evening, Karsten.
Hi, Karsten. It's really
Todd
nice
Glenn.
being able to put some faces with these names.
Yeah, but you must have had a set of ladders to give Karsten a hug.
No, I just hugged him around his waist.
All right.
Todd Glencoe, I think I've already said. Karsten.
Spindle roughing guts, just knock the bark off and get this started.
Tim Ponder's in. Vinnie Charlton. Anthony Green. Thomas Kenny. I'm still going down. Karsten is asking, is he the only one getting constant interruptions? I think you must be, Karsten, because I'm definitely not getting any.
Well, I haven't been getting them either.
I was getting, now, to tell you the truth, I was getting the same thing on Jamie's premiere last night, and it got that bad I couldn't actually watch it.
Talking about
Heather's
ad
in.
interruptions.
Hiya, Heather. Deal's in. Old Man River. Hiya, Deal. Chris Walters is in. I think that's me down at the bottom now.
Trying to
Now,
look
did you see where Karsten said that I managed quite well, Wayne? His ribs were still hurting when he got to the airport.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Sorry, Karsten, didn't mean to hug you that hard.
And Frederick Day's just come in. Bitterly cold with icy drizzle from down south in Kent.
Well, I'm afraid it's quite mild outside here, and I was saying to the fellows that my grass is even turning green.
All right.
All the
Um,
snow is gone.
Dale has said that he gets interrupted by ads all the time. I don't tend to get ads when somebody's doing a live.
Just
I've gotten more lately.
No, I don't know if that's because I'm not watching on YouTube. I'm watching on StreamYard. That's probably why I don't get the interruptions.
Yes, you're exactly right. When you're watching on YouTube, the YouTube is sticking in more stuff. Let's see, I want to give myself just a little bit of room.
And Zed's got a premiere later.
Good. And
He's
Mike's
doing
saying that, go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
Mike's saying that his grass stays green all year, even when they happen to get snow.
All right. Zed, like I said, he's got a premiere later on, which is a laser etched Mayaporan bowl, and he's put the link in.
Excellent. Thank you, Zed. Glad you did that.
Mayaporan bowl. What is that? A type of wood or a style of bowl? Have to check that out to find out. We're all doing well, thanks, Chris. Zed says the Mayaporam is a shrubby tree from Australia. And it's commonly used in landscaping in Southern California.
Go ahead and get this turned around in my chuck so that I don't have to worry about it. I just have it in there and kind of be done with it.
And
There
Bert
we go.
Wolf has joined us. Welcome, Bert.
Evening, Bert.
How'd it do? Glad to have everybody along tonight.
Mama Snakes has joined us. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama Snakes.
How'd it do? There we go. Now we're in. Get this tailstock back out of my way. Get the elbow stabber out of it. If I don't, I will stick my elbow against it. It don't feel good.
Well, it reminds you you're alive.
Yeah. I've had enough of that here recently. Tell you what. Came in the other day, I was bringing some stuff in and had a large piece of Osage sitting in the floor. And I kicked it with my left shin, so I've still got places on my shin where that's still healing. I get tired of hurting myself.
Now, Zed says that the zombie bride found him 3 logs of pistachio for Christmas. He's looking forward to turning it. You're going to find pistachio is really nice to turn, Zed.
Absolutely. If it's not already, get some sealer on your end grain.
Yes.
Because it will crack quickly.
And Haley's joined us. Hi, Haley.
Evening, Haley.
For those who just came in, Doug is turning a piece of hackberry, which is also very nice to turn.
This is just, yeah, hackberry is going to be just a simple vase. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I meant to change cameras for you. All right, there we go. Just cleaning off the bottom or this top end so that it'll be relatively flat across here right this second. Then we'll go back to shaping it up. Ah, that's better.
And Susie's here. Or did you already mention Susie?
I don't remember if she did or not. Hello, Susie. It's always
And
good to have
Pete.
folks come in.
Pete's here as well.
Hey, Pete.
Your ears must have been burning, Pete. I was telling someone today about how we went dotty in your shot.
And Zed's asking, so Doug, did I hear that you had to get stitches on your arm? Was that the injury you got from the piece I sent you?
No stitches. I just I do have a Band-Aid. Yes, from that piece you sent me that we turned last week. One of those edge protrusions banged me pretty good and just kind of took the bark off a little bit. No stitches though.
See, Doug's got bark on his arms. It took the bark off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told Zed, I told Wayne and Rubio just a few moments ago. But now, once that piece was completed, when I got the repair made and finish on it, I took it to the shop and told the lady the story of it. She said, "Oh, you know, so and so is from California, and her in-laws were from Paradise, which burned up in one of the wildfires not so long ago. And so that piece, as she and I talked more about it the other day, we decided she and I are gonna have that piece, and it's gonna go to Southern California or to Paradise, not Southern California. It's gonna go to Paradise as a gift to them. These folks lost everything in those fires, so it's going full circle.
And Johnny Foster's just come in for a few minutes. I think Johnny's probably at work. Maybe taking a break. Yeah, maybe taking a break so he can have a little watch.
Glad to have you in, Johnny. All right. We went to the top. We'll start back at the main part.
Zed is saying that's perfect. He's glad you found an appropriate home for it.
Yeah. I think it would have sat on my shelf there at the store, and it would have sold before too long. In fact, it probably would be sold already. But as we talked and just thought about this couple who had lived in Paradise all their lives and had lost everything in the fires, we just thought this was extremely appropriate that they get it. And so here we go. Turn that on. There we go. Now, dust collection's on.
Not hearing it here.
Good, good. The actual collector is about 6 feet off to my right. So it's not right on top of me, but it is close enough that if it weren't for the noise cancellation, it would be well heard, I'm sure.
Well, Chris Walter says he's not hearing your dust collector either, so that's good.
Good. Little lump right there. I think I'm going to come back and cut that instead of trying to sand it away.
Yeah, it is noticeable.
Yep. In fact, I think I can speed it up and run my skew down that side, and since it is in grain,
That would be my tool of choice for that cut.
just taking some nice whispers off. Those are nice shavings. Smooth that lump that was right in there, right off. Take one more pass. Again,
And
go ahead.
the Vineyard Farmhouse has signed in. And he says,
Oh, hey.
Hey there, I was finally able to get in one of these lives and subscribe for a while.
There you go.
Good evening. Or good afternoon.
I've forgotten your name. Is it? Well, just remind us. I don't even want to guess.
And the angry woodturner's in.
Hey, Roger.
And Ron is asking, is that a big guy production sanding device you're using?
Absolutely, it is. I knew better than that. That was my fault.
That's because I distracted you.
There. Oh, almost fixed it. Oh, well, what happened was I went backwards.
Yeah, Mike Evans has just come in. He says, "Sorry, I'm a bit late." He was watching the start of Martin's live.
Ah, and a lot of people do that. That's cool.
Mike is asking, "Is that skew tip down?" Now, I don't know what it is about overhead shots, but it always looks, especially when Doug's using the skew, it always looks like he's cutting with the long point rather than the short point. But he is actually cutting with the short point, not the long point.
Yes. Yeah, long point was up.
Mad Nerd Workshops said, "I like the shape of this. I've got to say, this is my favorite shape to do a vase with, because you can do it both ways. As Doug's doing it here, he's got the base as the flat bit, but he could actually have the same shape and have the fat bit as the top, and that's the reason that I like this shape."
I agree.
Yeah, it's a versatile shape, and it can have a foot added to it or no foot. It doesn't matter. It could have a collar or no collar, but the basic shape here to here can be the same, and you can use it so many ways. And you may have noticed there at the beginning, I held the ruler up to it. What I was doing was finding approximately a third, which is right about there. And so here, this is the fat part, and it tapers off from both of those in both directions.
And Clive just come in, Sneaks Wallart.
How you doing, Sneaks?
Evening, Clive.
Somebody asked if this was a big guy production inertia sander. Yes, it is. There's a bronze collar there that's about a half inch or so long, 3/4 of an inch. And then there's a magnetic bearing, a round magnetic bearing sits in the bottom of that. And then this metal shaft is just held in by that magnet. You can pull it out easily, or it stays in all on its own really well. So.
Now, the Vineyard Farmhouse said it's been strongly recommended that I need to have you on one of my lives one night.
Sure.
And
Send
the
me a
Mad
message.
Nerd,
We'll get it figured out.
Mad Nerd Workshop has joined us. Welcome.
Now, 120 grit I have to hold in my hand because when I ordered my sandpaper, they didn't have any with 120 with the Velcro back. And so I just got a shop roll, 2-inch wide, and it works fine. I just have to hold it in my hand. All right.
Vineyard Farmhouse has said I do an open mic every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Central, so you can come in whenever you want, Doug.
9 o'clock Central, so that's 10 o'clock my time. Okay. I'll try to remember that.
That would be right after the Worldwide Woodturners.
Yes, yes.
I'm afraid I won't be awake.
Come on, Wayne. That's only 3 a.m. for you.
And the Vineyard Farmhouse has said it was Bailey Woodworks, that's Chris,
Yes,
that
yes.
recommended you.
Bailey's a good guy. I was just catching up some of my social media one day, and I get this message, a direct message from him. Says, I need your address. I got something I got to send to you. I'm thinking, what in the world? About a week and a half later, here comes an envelope from him. It's got a couple of his stickers, but no return address.
Oh,
And so
dear.
he never has given me his return address. So I've still got stickers waiting for him for an address. Okay. Turn off. I know y'all don't hear that, but I do. And I'll turn that thing off, and we'll see about taking some wood out of the center of this.
Now, being as that's a real nice white wood, are you looking at coloring it?
Let me turn it off and let's look at it a little bit. It's got a fair amount of spalting, some real nice dark spalting there, and there's some little lighter. That looks like a little bit of an inclusion right there.
I think it's going to have enough going on as is.
Yeah. If I do, I had thought about doing some coloring with some embellishing wax, but I think what I'll do, I'm going to wait and I'll decide. If I do anything, I'll use some intrinsic colors on it.
Yeah, my recommendation would be black intrinsic, sand that back, and then use some either the ruby or the violet.
Yeah. My only problem with ruby is I'm out.
All right, okay.
So it'll have to be the plum of those two. I got plum. Well, I have to look in my little sample box, see what I've got left in it. I've got plum, black, and forest green in the big bottles. There we go. Didn't have that real tight, and I let my tool get away from me there. Of course, it'd be handy if y'all could see what I'm doing, wouldn't it? Ta-da!
I'm just going to let the hounds out.
I would go from the center outward. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the correct way of doing it. And I was really just trying to get a bit of a depression. Wayne must be just out of range.
No, I was just letting the dogs out there.
Okay. I'm a little high to begin with. And I'm just wanting to get a depression so I can get my easy wood in here. Let the big dog eat.
Sometimes like that, I just drill a hole, about a 3/4 inch hole in.
Right, right.
I
Yeah,
managed.
Oh,
what I tend to do is initially use my spindle gouge as a drill.
Right.
One of these days, I'm going to get a little bit smaller spindle gouge. The one I use the most is 1/2 inch. I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to take my tailstock completely off the lathe. It's in my way. I would have hit my elbow 2 or 3 times if I'd left the live center in it.
Well, puncture marks give you something to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. we were sitting there with my son's future in-laws, and he is a doctor, and we were talking about donating blood and whatnot. And I pulled the sleeve back on my sweater, and I showed them right there.
Well, that's a good one.
They wanted to, or I tried to get them to put a faucet in there. I was given very regularly every 8 weeks. Gave one time, and oh, that's what fell. Gave one time, and the poor phlebotomist, she hit a nerve, and she felt it before I did.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Wayne, don't you? That little electrical impulse
So,
from the nerve.
so did she start giving blood through her nose?
It scared the hound out of her. She just about quit on the spot. She jumped, and then I jumped, and it upset her. She felt so bad. It's just one of those things. It happens sometimes that you can't see the nerves, you can't feel the nerve until you hit it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, she felt terrible that it happened, and somebody else started to come over and finish it for her, and she said, no, if I don't do it, I'll probably quit right now and never do it again. So, and I let her. I had no trouble letting her do that. And,
That's the thing about nerves. Everybody thinks they're fairly small things, but a lot of the time they're not.
yeah, they can be pretty big.
Yeah, especially the sciatic nerve.
Oh
The
my,
sciatic,
yeah.
yeah, the sciatic nerve is about the size of your thumb.
I am going to go ahead and
Mine's been acting up of late.
yeah, mine too.
Now, Mike is asking, does anyone use a thermos mug? He's curious if it makes your coffee taste different to a normal mug. The only thing I found is that it keeps your coffee hotter longer.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening, but certainly my YouTube chat keeps on freezing. It's done it again.
I see William Kenny at the very bottom there. Mine. Hello, William. Jennifer just said hello to Mike, or said it
Hey,
does.
William Kenny has joined us. Hi, William.
Yep. William just hit a fantastic milestone.
He did. Well done.
Whole bunch of views.
And well deserved.
Oh yes. Blow that out real quick. There we go.
Now, as Ed has pointed out, come on, folks, hit that like button.
Yep.
And Rob from Copper Owl has joined us.
Evening,
Hey, Rob.
Rob.
I'll bring in whole tailstock up a little closer before I start again. There we go. I don't have much more to go. About 1.25 inches.
And again, with Mike from Dances with Aardvarks. I don't know anybody saw his post from yesterday, but he's done another tensegrity goblet.
Yes.
I always get mixed up with that word.
And just a lot of those words are just kind of tough to say.
Maybe we can get Mike to translate it to English.
Okay, let's get that drill chuck out, and then we'll take the tailstock off the lathe.
Hey, my nephew Jamie's joined us. Hi, Jamie.
Jimmy!
What's up, bud? Okay, now we can get back to some fun here. Get that tightened down, get the speed back up. I did turn the speed down to about 600 to drill. Really should have been a little slower than that, I guess. Now we're back up to 1800, and I can use my number one hollower.
So
Clean
Mike
this
has
up.
just explained what tensegrity is. It is a structure that is supported by two vectors of opposing tension.
Okie doke.
Frederick's asking, I would imagine that it's already been mentioned, but what is the wood? It looks like hornbeam. It's hackberry. It's called hackberry.
Yeah, hackberry's a nice wood to turn.
Yeah, and I've discovered, just through observation of other people using hackberry, depending on what part of the country you're in, some pieces of hackberry, hackberry is not equal from every part. Our hackberry here tends to be a little grayer.
I think that's the minerals in the soil that it's
I think you're
absorbed.
right.
I found hackberries really nice if you want to turn it thin and then bend it. And Dale's saying his YouTube videos just hit 100 hours of watch time, and he only has 66 subscribers.
Okay. Go sign up to Old Man River Woodturning. Give him some love. These things, these number one hollowers, they do take some wood out.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
a
like them.
good idea. Good idea to stop fairly regular, clean it out. Then you can know where you're at and what's going on. Like right now.
Jamie saying, Dale, you've got more watch minutes than Wayne. Well, I don't have very many since I haven't done anything since May.
Amazing how that happens. All right, I'm pretty thin back, almost halfway down. And it's pretty rough in here too. I'm gonna switch over to the finisher, the easy finisher. Smooth that up,
And
then we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, Dale's also said that all his videos are in real time, as he hasn't, I think he means, found an editor that is easy enough to use for my simple mind. But I've forgotten the one I use now.
I've just gotten Rob Summerlin to do mine.
That's almost cheating, isn't it?
Well, I usually get him on the end of the camera as well.
There you go.
Wondershare Filmora, that's the one that I use, and that's the one
Mhm.
that Jamie uses as well. And it is nice and easy to use.
Oh, let's see. I've got to get a little light up in there to see what I've got. It's deep enough that I can't see it. Oh, it's not bad. Dale, remind me, are you using iPhone to film with? If you are, the iMovie program is relatively simple. They've all got a little bit of a learning curve, but
Frederick D is asking me, how's the computer coming along? All set up yet? No, I'm a last minute kind of guy. William Kenny also uses Filmora. Enchanted Wood Designs is here.
hey, Kevin. All right. That's nice as far as I can reach, which is down to the 2/3 of the way down. A little bit of a split right there, but nothing major. I'm going to reverse spin it just a second with some sandpaper.
We've got various people subscribing to people at the moment, which is really nice.
That's excellent.
Dale says he uses an iPhone.
Yeah, the iMovie, which is freebie for you, is what I use when I do videos. You just have to get in and play with it, Dale. It's not very hard once you play with it for a little bit. It's not hard at all. So you might give that a shot. Okay, let's just for kicks put that where it belongs so I can find it.
Are you going to hit that crack with some CA?
Tell you what I am going to do before I go any further. Let's put it back in forward. We'll hit just the top inside with a little bit of sandpaper just to say we did. Then I think I am going to put just a little bit of color on it just for fun.
Vineyard Farmhouse is asking Dale, your channel is not popping up when I look for it. He needs the link. I'm afraid Dale won't be able to put a link in because he doesn't have a spanner.
Right.
I'll have a quick look.
Let's see. Can I? No, that's not what I want to do. Huh. Thought maybe I could bring it up directly, but I can't. All right. Now that it's
Now, One Turn at a Time has just joined us. And he said he's just passing through, and what a coincidence. He's currently making vases also for Christmas presents, except he'll just be drawing them and then using a glass cylinder inside.
sure, which is totally legitimate. Totally legitimate. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, I'm going to bring my
Right, I'm just putting the link in for Deal's channel. There it is. Oh, just coming up. There it is.
Yep.
Old Man River Woodturner.
the intrinsic color is black. And I'm going to use my $40 airbrush setup. Get some black on here, and this will become a base for the other color. It'll let some tones come through that would not have otherwise.
Yeah, what tends to happen when you do this technique, especially on a wood that's got a little bit of spalting and things in like this, if you sand this back at around about 400, what happens is that some of the black stays within the grain and some of it gets sanded off. So then what can happen is when you put the actual color you want to use over the top of that, whether it's ruby, whether it's the I call it purple, violet, or whatever.
Plum.
Yeah, plum. That's the one. You get different effects actually on the base black.
And it really doesn't matter which color you use. Burnt orange, flame, the midnight blue, the sky blue, pear green, ruby, forest green. The ruby, I've used the ruby on several times, and it is gorgeous. And I would do that again today, but I don't have any. So
And it is because you can go through the colors. You can actually have this vase with 2 or 3 different colors on. I prefer to stay with, okay, I've got the black base on, but over the top I prefer to go with 2 colors, whether that's a yellow and a red. And I'm just not using the names, but the yellow and the red, the purple and the yellow, things like this, because you get a really nice effect.
yeah, I'm gonna give this just a little help. Make sure it's good and dry. Doesn't take long to dry because it is a water-based dye. I say that, it's a dye or stain? It's dye, isn't it? Yeah, dye.
Yeah, I think it's a dye.
Thanks, Jamie. Jamie was asking why you would use Ruby. She's a nice lady.
Because it's a nice color. We've dried it. Just a little sandpaper, knock it back. If I put you on overhead, you'll see it even better, I think. There we go.
Right, Vineyard Farmhouse. This live is scheduled for a Tuesday at is it 3 p.m. Eastern, Doug?
Yes, yes.
3 p.m. Eastern.
Which would be 2 p.m. your time, I guess, if you're in Central Time. It looks like I've just about taken all the black off of it, but there's enough on there. Tends to sit down in the softer grain, and so it leaves you with nice variance of color when you get all the colors on. And even then, it really doesn't come alive until you put some finish on it after it's completely done.
Vineyard Farmhouse is central. He's in New York.
Yeah, okay.
He
New
tends
York.
to he tends to use central because that's where most of his viewers are.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Yeah, New York's in the Eastern time, but
Yeah,
okay,
he said
that makes
he
sense.
said he was Eastern.
Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. Good deal. Okay, we've sanded it. Let me turn that off so you can see what we got. And you can still see there's a little streak of black there. That's a little softer streak of wood, but it's down in the grain. And I think it will show up even better once we get a little of this. I'll use plum. Or purple.
That seems to be a favorite color amongst guys.
Well, I tend to use it a lot because it's Jane's favorite color.
I didn't explain a while ago. I think, if I'm not mistaken, $40 is what I paid for this little airbrush setup. This is actually a makeup airbrush. So,
So
for you
you
guys
have
in the
a double
States,
use for it, Doug.
I'm sorry, what?
You have a double use for it.
I guess.
One
y'all
turn
in
at
the
a
States, I've
time.
got it at Walmart. So
one turn at a time. I said, "Hey Rob, what's Dale's channel?" I've just put. If you go back up into the chat, one turn at a time, I have put the link in to Dale's channel. It's Old Man River Woodturner.
okay. All right.
Vineyard Farmhouse is asking, what state are you in? He's pretty sober at the moment.
You're talking about me. I'm in Kentucky, and yes, very sober.
Sorry, Doug, couldn't resist.
About the hardest I go. There it is. L81. If you don't know what that is a Kentucky only soft drink. It's a spiced up ginger ale. I love
What
it.
do they spice it up with?
Good question. I don't know. It's non-alcoholic. I know that. Well, I do too know. Part of it is they put some citrus in it, but they add caffeine. So that's why it's L81. If you look at the label, I'll get it here for you. A late one. Well, that's 0. Normally it says 1 right there, but it's L81. So a late one. It's ginger ale you drink when you're trying to stay awake. Unless you get to 0, and then it has little less caffeine in it.
No,
All right.
Fred's
Oh, go on.
Fred's asking, are you going to blend it into another color, perhaps a light blue?
We'll see here in just a moment. We'll get it a little more warm air.
And Mama Sneaks has said, wow, 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 what a beautiful, magnificent color.
I think it needs a little more dark on the bottom end.
Well, the way to do that is to sand back the 2/3 of the top and then put a light blue over that, because
No,
that'll blend in the plum and the light blue and the black, and you'll get I think anyway, you'll get a really good effect.
no, we're talking about darkening the bottom end near the chuck where he's going to part it off.
Right.
You'll probably see that if you put a lighter color blended in from, like I say, about 2/3 down towards the top, sand that back and put a lighter color in, it will automatically darken the bottom without putting any extra color on.
Right. And just to make sure I'm saying the same thing you are, you're talking about sanding from here up.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. I've seen it a few times, more than once, where somebody got it twisted up and confused and just for
One
fun.
one turn at a time has got to go back to work.
All right, sir. Glad to have you in. Hope you'll come back again next week.
Just just as you're finishing there, Doug, just try to blend in that sort of straight line between the plum and where you've sanded. Just a little bit of blend. Don't take it all off. There you go.
Stop
Yeah.
there.
Yep. Now, let's go back in my box.
Michael McEwen has got to go to a meeting.
All right,
So
Michael.
he's off.
Sky Blue.
Vineyard Farmhouse is in Kentucky.
All right. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I wonder if you're down the street from me. Where in Kentucky? I'm in northern Kentucky. Are you
No,
by chance?
no, Vineyard Farmhouse is in New York.
Oh, he was asking where I'm at. Okay, I got you.
Yes,
I
he
got
was
you.
asking where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. There's a there's an abandoned schoolhouse not far from where I live that people have bought and have put in a small vineyard, and they call it the vineyard schoolhouse now,
Yep.
and have craft shows and all that kind of thing.
Oh,
And
excellent.
Doug, could you turn the lathe off for a moment before continuing? Karsten would like to see where it's at.
I've just started putting a little bit of blue.
Just
You can barely see
yeah,
it. This is the
yeah.
top.
Okay.
This is the bottom. Okay.
Yep.
We are all okay. And I'm only spinning at 700. I'm very lightly putting the blue on at this moment. Let's go just a little heavier because we wanted to darken that bottom end just a little bit. There we go. I kind of like that. All right. While I'm here, I've been put every bottle or every scoop of this dye. I've been running one of alcohol through it just to clean up that bowl. Let that run. That air circulation helps that dry rather quickly.
Yeah, Jim Selby's having to go. He's got to start the grill for supper.
There you go, Jim.
Sounds like a plan.
That does sound like a plan, to tell you the truth.
I mean to tell you, I've got to do something, I guess, for our supper. I've got another project I've got to do this evening too. My wife's asked me to do a small ornament, and then she wants a nativity scene lasered onto the side of it if I can. So I've got to, when I shut this down, I've got to turn on my, get another piece of wood and turn a globe on it just to see if I can do this thing. We'll see. Now, if that comes out as nice as it's looking at to me right this minute, it's going to look really good. I like that. All right, just for giggles, let's take a little piece of like that. Let's take this one, little gray pad, and just to knock any nibs that may have developed, knock those
Now,
back.
Frederick Day has said he's tried using denatured alcohol lightly through an airbrush, and that has good results. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, Denatured alcohol over here in the UK is called methylated spirits,
Sure.
and it's coloured purple, so people don't drink it.
And I'll tell you all a little secret. I've not bought any denatured alcohol in 2 years. I've been using rubbing alcohol. It's about a third cheaper. And I've not used it to mix shellac with. So I don't know how that works. But for everything else that I use alcohol for, it works perfectly.
Yeah, and Pete's just put in that denatured alcohol is actually banned in California.
Yes, it's they've determined it's carcinogenic.
Well, you
Then
can
again,
So what
use
is
nail polish remover.
Mama Sneaks is having to leave,
all right, Mama Sneaks.
she's a bit on the tired side, so she's
Okay.
I think she's going off to bed.
Tell you what,
And
before
I didn't see Rich come in earlier on, but Rich is in, and he says
hey,
California
Rich,
bans everything.
I was just gonna say they've said everything is just turning wood. Wood dust is carcinogenic.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw something on a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, and I think I mentioned it in one of your lives, Doug, about them banning wood shavings and getting rid of wood shavings.
Yeah.
Rob has put in acetone, and acetone is basically what nail polish remover is.
And Mad Nerd has said California doesn't ban everything. He lives in California. Well, he hasn't been banned yet.
Just wait. All right. Just got me a good. I'm going to cut that off, but I'm going to stomp. And real quick, before we go any further, that's not what. Yeah, that's what I want.
No,
Just so you guys can see what we got going here.
very pretty.
Yeah, see, that worked.
Now, Enchanted Wood Design said that he forgot some wood in a faceplate in a bucket of denatured alcohol. And when he went to take it out, it didn't evaporate, but it turned the walnut ebony black.
That's yeah, you never know. You
Now,
never know.
Rich has said we can't even offer extended warranties in California.
And Pete is right about one thing: the most carcinogenic explosive, and that reacts with everything chemical that hasn't been banned yet, is oxygen.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see them try to ban oxygen somewhere. That one might be a little different thought. Oh, I got cables hung up on everything, wrapped around each other. Good grief.
I can think of a few places that can go ahead and ban oxygen.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I do see where I kind of messed up just a little bit right here. This should have curved in just a little bit more. It's okay, but it could have curved in a little more.
To tell you the truth, at this stage, Doug, I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh no. I'm not at this stage. It's fine as it is, but especially with this being the bottom.
You could still do it right now.
Yeah, I'd have to come back and fix my color.
Yeah, you'd put some purple on and then or plum, and then hit it with a little bit of blue.
Let's see. Let's use that. I was going to use my lacquer, but let's use my polyacrylic spray.
So the Vineyard Farmhouse has said, hello to everybody else I haven't said hi to. He's so interested in meeting maker channels. His channel is mostly about remodeling a 2-story farmhouse, setting up shop and starting to do some maker projects.
Good. All right. As you can see, that this finish will dry. It'll smooth itself out and become crystal clear. But you can already see that's bringing the color out very, very nicely. And for just a plain piece of wood, where there, that section right there, that's gorgeous to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Between the black, the purple, the blue, it just looks good.
Now Zed's asking, Doug, have you ever sprayed shellac with an airbrush? Wondering if it gums it up too much.
I have not.
It's shellac. I mean, to tell you the truth, I've never used shellac, but from what I've seen it being used or how it's used, is it not a bit thick to go through an airbrush?
No, you can thin it down,
Yeah.
Okay.
but it does gum things up.
That would depend on your cut. They talk about the cuts of shellac, and it has to do with how many pounds of shellac flakes you put into a gallon of alcohol to melt them down.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
2 pound cut is fairly thin. 4 pound, of course, would be even thinner. Most of what you buy in a can pre-made is a 2 pound cut. You can take that, cut it in half. You're going to have a 4 pound cut. So yeah, I've used plenty that was water thin. That I guess you could run it through an airbrush. You would want to immediately run straight alcohol through your airbrush to clean it. I wouldn't go more than 1 or 2 of those little cups of shellac before I'd run straight alcohol through it just to get the shellac out. Or you will gum it up. That's the nice thing though; it can always be cleaned out. Straight alcohol will melt the shellac and get you going again fairly quickly. Well, this will take 2 or 3 coats, and it takes a little while for it to actually dry. It's slower to dry than alcohol, or excuse me, than lacquer. Lacquer dries pretty quickly. In fact, about every 20 to 30 minutes, you can put another coat of lacquer on. Where this is polyacrylic, it's a water-based acrylic. Well, it's an acrylic-based polyurethane is what it is. So it's not really urethane. So anyway, and it takes a little while longer for it to dry. They say wait 24 hours. I won't wait that long, but I'll turn it off so you can see. There you go, folks.
Very nice.
So all it's left to do, finish the finish on it. I'll part this bottom off at a slight angle, undercut it so it's concave. I'll get some finish on the inside of some sort. I'm not sure what I'll put in there. Probably just oil on the inside. But anyway, there's that. Bring my friends back in, both of them.
Hello.
Hello.
So, anything else that we need to talk about before we say goodnight?
Oh,
Or have we
there's
said it
been
all?
there's been a couple of things come up. Enchanted Wood Designs, I think he said straight from the can is a 1 pound cut. You can thin it with alcohol to the point you need.
Okay. 1 pound cut. That sounds okay.
Zed has said he's wondering about doing OB shines, so it's shellac diluted in alcohol and mixed 50% with boiled linseed oil.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, OB shine juice is actually 1 part shellac, 1 part alcohol, 1 part oil. Whether you use the original was boiled linseed oil. I've known people who have used tung oil or walnut oil. any of your drying oils will be fine with that. But that's what that is. And OB shine juice is not meant to be a final finish. It's meant to be an under finish.
Yeah.
So you build it up, use it as a friction polish, build up your coats, and then when you're happy with it, put something over it. Okay.
Yeah. And quite a few people are saying that this has really come up a treat and it looks amazing. And I agree with them.
Well, thank you. Thank you all very much. Like I said before, this is something you can do. We've spent right at an hour. It could be done a little quicker. If you just went to, if you sanded it, used walnut oil on it, burnished some walnut oil into it, parted off, you're done. That quick and easy. It could have been done in under an hour, but because we decided to fancy it up with a little color, a little over an hour.
Well, that's good. We got to enjoy your company and that of everyone in the chat.
I'm glad everybody's enjoyed it. It's I know it brings this vase, and Wayne, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if as I remember, when you've done them, it always brings up questions, and it's just a good example of what turning can do.
It is. The thing that I really like about it is that it's such a simple shape, and if you are going to embellish it, you can do so much with it. I mean, Doug could have done texture on the texture and color
Oh yes.
on the outside of this. I've done a few with that, and in fact, I did a live with Mark last April down at his workshop, where we were experimenting with textures and colors on this shape of vase.
Well, I think on this particular vase, though, to add texture would take away from it because the grain in the wood is
Yes,
stunning right now.
yeah. To put texture on it, you need a pretty plain piece of wood,
Right.
Yeah.
which this isn't.
I think Mark used that piece you were talking about, Wayne. I think Mark used sycamore, maybe.
I think it was sycamore. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, something plain. If you wanted to use paint instead of dye, you could always, you could use anything, but something simple like pine, and just where you cover it up completely. Um, you might get some of the grain radiate through the paint, but if you sand it well, um sanding sealer, and then use your finest sandpaper again, 320 or 400, to smooth that over, and then come back with your paint. You could have just a smooth surface on there, and golly, you could do all kind of fun stuff with that. Very good. All right. Well, I'm going to say this one's done for all practical purposes. I've got to get on that ornament for my wife. Yes,
Albert, Al is asking me, am I still on for the 14th? I've got a couple of things to do, Al. I think I mentioned earlier on in the show that I'm very much a last minute type of person. So I've still got a couple of days left.
Yes, you did say very possibly. Not you would. You said possibly.
Yeah. If it happens, it happens. Looking on a positive note, I am really hoping it's going to happen.
Oh, that'll be great.
I'm not too sure about the earworms and the content. The content might be a bit risky.
If you're doing rings, it will be.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh me. Well, that's all right. Whatever you're going to do, it'll be good, and it'll be good to have you back on Facebook. The Facebook world will be glad to see you.
Right now, hang on. Anthony Green has said just before you go, he wants to turn a large snowman about 12 inches long and 6 inches wide. What is the best way to hold it? Faceplate query. If
No,
you turn it end grain, do not use a faceplate
agreed.
because the screws going into end grain won't hold very well.
Yeah.
Get a tenon on there and turn it in a chuck.
Right. I
Yeah,
agree.
or like Pete says, turn it between centers. The
Yeah,
majority
yeah,
of it, turn it between centers, and then if possible, turn it in chuck. Or the other thing to do is have a look at how Holly Denny does hers, because she predominantly turns between centers when she's doing her snowmen.
yeah. I've turned nearly 100 of these this year, all of them between centers. I end up with a small tenon on both ends. The first one that breaks off is where we stop. um, this one's down to about 1/8 of an inch on top of the head. This one's 3/8 on the bottom. Then I take them, if they're too big to take with a knife to, I'll take them down to my big disc sander on the Shopsmith, get them down pretty close to flush, and then I'll have my little sanding mandrel in my headstock and just sand them down to to soft
Yeah,
or to smooth.
I think Holly does hers all in one piece. Now
Yeah.
Matt's put in there about doing it in two parts. That's Matt Harbour.
Yes. Yes.
About doing it in two parts, hat and body. Holly tends to do all of hers in one piece, and she tends to do it all between centers.
Right. Even between centers, if you wanted to turn the body, the head, and then you can take the head off center, do another um, what's the word I'm looking for, just take a head off center, and so you have another axis. That's the word I'm looking for, another axis for the hat. Or you can do like Matt does, turn the hat separate, then you can put it on at whatever angle you want to put it on, and even use the tenon that's left on top of the head to kind of help hold it while the glue is setting. So all kinds of
Yeah,
ways to do it. My grandfather used to tell me when I was growing up, more than one way to skin a cat. Everything you can do in more than one way. And turning seems to lend itself to a multitude of ways to get the same thing done. So you saw my way of turning one of these vases today. Wayne does them just a little different. Ruby, I'm sure, does a little different than either one of us.
yeah, that's the thing. If you ask 12 wood turners the same question, you're going to get 12 different. You probably get 15 different answers, to tell you the
Could
truth.
be. Could be. Yeah, some of us will come up with 2 or 3 ways to do the same thing. I would. I always come up with 2 ways. Somebody says, "How do you do that?" I'll spit out 2 ways at least, maybe 3 of doing the exact same thing. Um, this I could have done this a whole totally different way, um, no problem. And I've already said one thing I would do differently if I had to do it would be to round the bottom edge just a little more before I
Yes.
parted it. But it's again not a big deal, not a big deal at all. Tell you what else you could do. I could take and switch cameras, and you can see what I'm talking about as I say it. If I go there, I could turn a piece to barely fit in that and actually glue it in with a tenon on it, flip it around, and make that the top.
Yep.
It could be switched around and do all kind of fun stuff with it. That's just part of the fun of turning, as far as I'm concerned. That makes it fun. All right, I'm going to say that's the end. I'm going to say good night, all, and I'm going to let Ruby and Wayne say good night.
Right. I'm sorry, Doug. We're keeping you
Oh,
back here, and I know you've got other stuff to do.
you're all
But
right.
Carsten is asking Ruby to hold up the wood carving behind her. Could you put Ruby on full screen, please?
Oh, absolutely. Let's there we go.
That's my Christmas contribution. So the back is turned and the front is carved.
And it is a beautiful piece.
It
Absolutely
is.
beautiful.
Absolutely.
Originally, I was going to paint it, and I liked it just the way it was, so I left it like that.
Perfect. Perfect.
And on that note, if some of you I don't see, have a very Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to everybody. And I thought I had the whole month planned out, but I was looking at it earlier today, and things may have changed. So we'll let you know about the rest of the month next week. All right. And with that, let's say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. Have a good one. We'll see you next week if